Welcome and/or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I'm wearing my old lady fun glasses today. Uh, I like them because I feel like, the crazy old lady that plays bingo and yells at kids from her front porch. It's very funny to me. Let's talk about the books that I read this week. So let's go back to the big book that I'm not going to talk much about because I have already discussed it a lot in a live show, and that is Stone of Farewell by Tad Williams. This is the second book in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is an epic classic fantasy series at this point. The series is about Simon, who is a kitchen boy who ends up embroiled in this, oh my gosh, this clash of all these forces coming together. What do we call him? A cardinal? He's some sort of religious figure, has become the advisor to the new king. The great king has died. His two sons are in contention. Then the man who takes the throne is being advised by this evil man who is bringing darkness to Austin Ard, the land, and at the same time there is also something coming from the north, and Simon ends up with a group of others trying to stop him, and along the way they have to collect 3 magic swords, which is why all of these editions have swords on them. So this is the second book. We see Simon taking one of the swords. He is trying to deliver it to the prince that is fighting his brother, and things don't go to plan. Of course, they never do. Simon gets separated from his compatriots in this one. That is a common trope we see in this type of a story. We see characters die, we get new characters introduced. This one was good. It wasn't as good as the first book for me because we spent what felt like the first 30 to 40% on a snowy mountain, and Simon is a little extra depresso espresso on that mountain, and we get nothing but snow descriptions and snow monologues and walking on a mountain over. It's very repetitive. It wasn't my favorite part. The latter portion of the book was much better. There were some definite horror elements in this that I really liked, and honestly, I feel like there might have been a scene or two that we could have done with that we didn't get in this one, but I was still pretty happy with the latter part. So I gave this like a 3.5 maybe. The other one I gave, I think, a 4.5 or a 5. This is like a 3.5 maybe. I am definitely continuing because we are doing a read along, but not my favorite. So do with that as you will. If you're interested in it, like I said, there is a live show. It's on Erin's channel at Booked and Busy, and I also have it linked in a community post here on this channel, so you can look for it there. The next thing that I finished, so that took the bulk of my reading for like 3 weeks, and as soon as I finished that, I put my nose to the grindstone and I started working on some arcs and another buddy read that I've been putting off. So the first arc that I finished on a drive. We took a little trip to Knoxville, which is a few hours away from me, and we went to McKay's, the big used bookstore there, and to a Korean barbecue place. It's a very late birthday gift for me from my friends. And I will say, as far as used bookstores go, I was very excited for McKay's because, it's kind of legendary. In my area, everybody who goes to bookstores is like, oh, you gotta go to McKay's. It's the best used bookstore. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It felt like, oh, this may not go over well. It felt like if GameStop was a used bookstore, in that GameStop is supposed to sell video games, and it used to sell video games. I'm saying this as someone who used to work there, but they can't make enough money selling video games, so they sell junk. They sell Funko Pops and t-shirts and merch and stuff to make ends meet. That's what McKay's felt like. There was 2 big aisles of just Funko Pops. There was huge sections of the store that was just board games or kind of nasty old toys, and the books themselves weren't in any real order, and they were not great quality across the board. So McKay's was not my favorite. It's not my favorite used bookstore I've ever been to. There's a couple very small ones, a little more locally to me, that I like a lot more. So I guess don't believe the hype. Not my favorite used bookstore. But on that drive, I did finish an arc, and that was A Fae in Finance by Juliette Brooks. This book has the worst cover that it could possibly have. This cover screams this cover honestly put me off of the book. I wasn't going to read it until I was emailed about it. I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. The premise sounded interesting. So this cover screams cheesy romance, really cheesy romance. There is almost no actual romance in this. There's no HEA. The most we get is a kiss, and even then it's with a character that we don't even know if she's going to eventually long-term possibly romance. We don't even know if it was a genuine kiss or if it was a manipulative one. And so like there's no actual solid romance that you can stick your teeth into in this. This is about Miri, who is in a awful fucking, oh my god, the job she's in, her boss is the absolute worst. She is working for an investment bank that is trying to ease the fairy folk, the fairy world, into our world. Like the fae folk have come out as, oh, we exist, and so now they're trying to ease into normal life. We're trying to get the two to get along, and they're like, oh, we'll build a factory and have some sort of a business, and you guys can help us with that. And she's like, okay. So she's assigned to the team. Her boss is very much about it, and they have to go to a dinner in Fairy to meet with the prince and his like main council for a meeting. She's been told, don't eat the food in Fairy, don't eat the food in Fairy, and she knows not to eat the food in Fairy. Well, she is tricked. She is told otherwise, and she ends up stuck in Fairy. And we find out, almost everybody there was in on this, and this happens in the first like 2 chapters, so no spoilers there. And it is her dealing with that. She deals a lot with depressive episodes because of this. Like she is stuck in Fairy, away from her friends and her family and the life that she had. She has to deal with that, and the book is actually genuinely very funny at the same time. I really enjoyed the main character. Once you get used to the humor, I think she is very fun, but I felt for her in a way. Like I understood why she needed to constantly people please, and she was trying so hard to say yes all the time and I'm sorry all the time, and then her coming to awareness of that, like I really cheered for it. So I actually really enjoyed this. I just really wish it had a different cover, because this is not going to sell what this book is to anyone. It is not an HEA with a romance. It is nothing like that. The closest you're going to get to this cover being right is that it is funny. It is very funny at times, but it is a like urban fantasy, like a very light urban fantasy, I would say. But yes, I really liked this. It's not going to be for everybody. Don't expect an HEA, but I did really enjoy it. It's coming out from Orbit in, I think, October. This is either like an October or September release. Then the other buddy read that I was putting off was the 3rd Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and sadly I think I might have put this one off too long. I read about half of it and then I set it down for maybe a week, and I think that was too long. I didn't fully connect to this the way that I think I should have. It was mostly in the past tense, so we mostly got the history between Lan Wuji and Wei Wuxian, and like I think that was interesting and I think it was important, but because I was super disconnected from my reading experience, I just didn't enjoy it a whole lot. I still gave the book a 4. It was still good overall, but it wasn't as good for me as previous books, and so far this series overall has not been as good for me as Thousand Autumns was. I do absolutely love the dynamic between these two though. It's absolutely, it's both hilarious and heart-wrenching. Like I'm kicking my feet and giggling while I'm reading this, but there's just something about it. It's not quite working. This series, if you are unaware, is about Lan Wuxi and Wei Wuxian. I keep wanting to call him something else. And Wei Wuxian was the great demonic grandmaster, and he was defeated and killed many years ago. In the beginning of the novel, a young man performs this big sacrifice, this big spell to bring a malevolent spirit into the world to do what he wants them to do, and then they're free to go. Well, Wei Wuxian ends up being the one that he summons, and he's in this new body. So he does what this young man wants him to do, and he ends up embroiled in with his former friends, and frenemies, as something else is unfolding. And it is that story, and there is like this relationship between the two. That's them on the cover. And it's fun. It's much more funny than I thought it would be. It's very light in places. So it's something, if you like Dawn May, if you want something a little lighter and funnier, this could be a great series to pick up. I am going to be starting book 4 in the next couple of days. I'm waiting on my best friend to finish 3. She's been super busy and she just hasn't had the time to finish it. So as soon as she finishes 3, I'm diving into 4. As soon as she finishes 3, I'm diving into 4 with her. So possibly next week I'll have that one to talk about. The next ebook that I read is another e-arc, and this one comes out in October, and that's Vagabond by Tim Curry. I am very bad at actors. I'm going to say that. I'm going to preface this as to why I have this memoir, because I don't read a ton of actor memoirs. I read some. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't like TV. I don't like movies, just in general. But as a kid, I grew up with like a handful of actors that I would watch their films. It's like Robin Williams. I liked Alan Rickman. I liked Tim Curry. He was one of them. And so this memoir was up for review, and I was like, I'll read that. It's short, and I am interested in his life. I don't know anything about him. He's a pretty private individual. This was a great memoir. The writing style to this was very charming and witty, and it's light. He is very kind in this book. You can see he gives grace. He talks a lot about first his childhood, and then each chapter kind of focuses in on some of his most iconic and favorite roles, and he talks about the people he worked with, how that role impacted his life, and why and how he did that, because he firmly believes in always challenging yourself and exploring your contradictions, is I think the way he phrased it. And even when he's talking about people or events that he didn't like or he doesn't get along with, he is still speaking with grace. We simply didn't get along, or his personality didn't mesh with me. I think the harshest thing he said, besides one comment about how he didn't care for Trump, was Tom Cruise, and it was basically, I didn't get the fuss. Like, he was very generous and kind in this, and I liked his personality, his approach, and I understand that a memoir is typically made to sell you on a person. I was still already a fan. This didn't change that. So if you enjoy Tim Curry, if you're interested in his life, his process, what he is like as a creative, I think this is an easy and approachable book to read. And I do think it's something that has some merit and worth. It's not just a light and fluffy sort of memoir and showbiz. I think you can take something from it. So I liked this a lot. And the final thing that I finished, I am trying to move quickly through these, is the saga double of Killer on the Road and The Babysitter Lives by Stephen Graham Jones. I have been rediscovering my love of Stephen Graham Jones lately. So when this came out, I was very excited. Now, firstly, I have to say, I love this format, how we have a book on each side. They're divided. I don't know if you can see the very dark line there, and you just flip it and you get the next one. And they picked the perfect two novellas for this. These felt like a slasher and a thriller horror back-to-back, like drive-in movie experience. Both of these movies felt very cinematic. They felt like I was watching a movie. One is more gory and thrilling, and the other is a lot more psychological and creepy. So the first one, The Killer on the Road, this is the first one I read. It is about, not Charlotte. Charlotte was the young girl in Babysitter. It starts with an A. Is it Harley? Hold on, I can't remember. Harper. It's about Harper, who runs away from home after a big argument with her mom. Her dad was a truck driver, and he left. He disappeared. And so she assumes that her mom chased him off, and they have been at odds ever since. And she is on the road hitchhiking. Some of her friends see her and pick her up, but it's too late. She's kind of already caught the eye of this killer on the road. And you watch things like unravel and go haywire. Now I'm going to tell you, the gore in this is gory. It's bloody. I am never going to look at a tow truck the same way again. And the way I'm going to look at it now is just outright fear. I can't unsee the things that I saw reading this book. I see pictures when I read. I see images and colors, and oh my God, wow. I also am never going to look like a big rig at a truck again the same way because, again, wow. Also, that's awkward for me because I have a relatively close relative, who drives them for a living. So, what are you going to do? I enjoyed that one. That one was a lot. It was very fun. I wasn't sure about the ending, but then he managed to pull it around, and I quite liked it. Now, The Babysitter Lives is about Charlotte, who is babysitting this young boy and sister, a young boy and a young girl for a family. And she finds out that the young children have these places called the funny places that they can go into, and they're basically like tunnels that take them through the house faster. So they'll go into the downstairs laundry closet funny place, and they'll appear in like their bed. So it's things like that. The places move, but the only rule is that once you go through it, you have to go back out it the same way when you go downstairs. So if you go upstairs to the bed, you have to come back downstairs to the laundry room when you go downstairs. And they know about these places because the gray woman or the gray mommy shows them where they're at. And Charlotte finds this out, and things go poorly. Very poorly for Charlotte. Wow. This one was very psychological. This was more in the brain. We're more thrilling here. Charlotte is trying to save the children, and then she's just simply trying to survive and save herself and her girlfriend, who shows up part of the way through. And oh my gosh, this one made me uncomfortable. There was a scene in this that was just wildly uncomfortable and got under my skin in the best and worst way. So, like, fantastic job there. There was a little bit too much repetition in this one. I think it was a little too long. I think maybe it's not a very long novella. It is like just over 200 pages, and I think he could have possibly made it about 150, and it would have been a bit more impactful with a bit more of a punch, but I still had a good time. This entire thing was just fantastic. If you like horror and you want something that, like I said, it feels like a drive-in movie back-to-back experience, give these a shot. I read one day and the other the next day, and it was great. It was really fun. I am definitely going to revisit these. I'm very glad I picked up my own copy, and I'm excited they have another double feature like this coming out soon. I think Ellen Datlow is the author on it, and I can't remember, is it Night and Day maybe? It was on the Saga request email that I just got today, and I think I'm going to request it. But yeah, do recommend it for horror fans. If you like horror, if you like Stephen Graham Jones, these are very double feature style movies, and great. So as to what I am reading right now, I have quite happily I can report, been able to turn in a book review every day this week. How cool is that? I am trying very hard to catch up on ARC August, to get some ARCs in, like, I'm super excited. So let's look at my Kindle. I believe I'm reading right now a urban fantasy that I'm honestly not wild about. It's not going well. It's called The Midnight Pack by Jasmine Kuliasha. This is like a half and half. I like the setting, the main character, and the mystery of this, but I do not like the male main character in this, but you know, it's fine. We'll see what happens. I'm about 40% of the way through it. I can definitely finish it today. The other things that I have, I am currently also reading. Actually, that's all I'm reading. I don't have anything else on the go. I'm getting ready, like I said, to start the 4th Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation, but that is it. In a weird twist, I'm not got anything else going on. Now, I did get some new ARCs that I'll mention briefly here. I got Terms of Service by Kale or Sale Perlow. I'll put the picture up here. It's a science fiction romance, I think, about a woman who has to help, I think, the family, the like super powerful tech family that has something to do with her family. I don't know the details. I don't remember them right now. I got The Finest Edge of Twilight, which I'm very excited about. This is R.A. Salvatore. I grew up reading the Drizzt Do'Urden books, and this is about Dritzt's Dritzt's daughter. This is about Drizzt and Caddy Bree's daughter. And this is, as my friend, but this is like book 96 or something stupid. It's not. It's like, at this point, I don't even know. There's been so many Drizzt books. Maybe 96 isn't too much of an over-exaggeration. It feels like it. But regardless, I'm excited to try this. So fingers crossed, I will get to that very soon. That one comes out in November. Terms of Service, I think, comes out in October or September. And I also got Lucky Seed by Justinian Huang, who wrote The Emperor in the Endless Palace, which I absolutely loved last year. This is a more contemporary story about a man who is asked by the matriarch of his family to produce an heir. I think the pitch on this said it was like Scandal meets something else, and I'm not really into that type of stuff, but I do love Justinian Huang, so I'm excited to read this. And let's see, I think that's the only 3 ARCs that came in this week. Now, I do have on my radar that I want to read Warrior Princess Assassin, just came out last week, and I'm interested in that. I know Robin's really enjoying it, or enjoyed it when she read it, so I'm looking forward to trying that. I have the sample downloaded. And then I had a pre-order for The Reluctant Dungeon, which is a lit RPG that just came out. It's about a man who's reincarnated as a dungeon core, like the AI almost that controls a dungeon, but he's a bit what do I want? He wants to hide. So he basically hides himself away in this like house. Instead of making a dungeon, he makes this big manor and he hides inside of it. I don't know. It sounded interesting. Alona Andrews has a new book that just came out on Tuesday called The Inheritance. I have that. It's actually downloading right now. I forgot to download it. I'm definitely going to get to that sooner rather than later because I do love Alona Andrews. But that is it. I have also picked up the 3rd Green Angel Tower book, or Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn book, so I will be starting that, but that's going to be a very slow process. I don't have to finish that till October, so don't expect anything about it till then. But that's it. That is everything that I have read, that I am looking forward to reading in the next week, and the new arcs and stuff that I got. Let me know if you're super interested in anything that I have talked about or what you've thought of what I have read, and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys are having fun with, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. I also want to show you, I built a Lego project with my daughter. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this thing to look at it. Hold on. There we go. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It is Tom Nook's store and Rosie's house from Animal Crossing. How cute. Hold on. Let's see. Turn. Okay. So it even came with furniture, and my daughter put Rosie in the bed. And then there's Tom Nook in his shop. There's even stuff in the case, and the drop box up front has little stuffs in it, and the mailbox on the front of Rosie's house, that little gray box, has a little letter in it. Like, oh, it's so cute. And I think my next one is going to be the trash compactor from Star Wars. I bought this for my husband years ago, and we just haven't gotten to it, so I think I'm gonna work on it next. But yeah, that's so cute.